Someone said that Israel is a 3,000-year-old dream, but why?
Why?
Proceed the roll call. Afghanistan? No. Argentina? Abstention?
I don't think there is a way to preserve your Jewish identity without feeling connection and solidarity with Israel.
This is the land of the Jews.
You need the state of Israel to be there in order for a Jewish people to be there.
I'm a Jew. This is the fact. And I have a link to the Jewish people.
We are all one nation, sharing common values, the same history, the same destiny, and no less important, the same goals and objectives for the future.
The AJC, I think, plays a very important role in this relationship.
Whether you're a Russian Jew, Ethiopian Jew, or American Jew, you are connected to Israel.
Israel.
I think that every day that Israel exists, given the odds, is a kind of miracle.
It's quite surprising. It's quite outstanding.
Yes, I think it's a miracle.
Israel, the 3,000-year-old dream.
Belgium? Yes. Bolivia? Yes.
Israel's 60 years have been fought with struggle and with an ongoing effort to fulfill the prayer and the dream of generations.
The fact that the Jewish people has a state is a seminal part of Jewish life.
Egypt? No. El Salvador?
You must be connected to the long tradition, history, the chain of the generations, to connect your past and your future.
Ethiopia? Abstain? France?
1948.
1948.
I think what's so extraordinary about 1948 is that it was 3 years after 1945. And we tend to forget that. The Jewish people had basically reached its end. If the State of Israel had not been founded 3 years later, we would have reached our end.
Greece? No. Guatemala?
We Jews are blessed with having unique history and unique people and unique tradition, which connects us with the freedom of all the world.
It is a kind of miracle.
If you want to have a future, not as an individual, but as a member of a community and a people, there has to be a Jewish state, and the American Jewish community should be connected to that state. And the American Jewish Committee, as an organization, plays a very crucial role in making sure that that connection is not only there, but is a very vibrant, effective connection.
כל ישראל ערבים זה לזה, maybe is a basis for volunteering. They provided us with ambulances and annual budget in order to keep the ALS service running here in Bet Shemesh.
1948 was a really long time ago.
Iran? No. Iraq? No.
Just think of the fact that 6 or 7 million people are surrounded by more than 200 million people, most of whom certainly are not friends.
When we sit down to negotiate with our Arab neighbors, the one concession they're expected to make is to accept our right to exist, which in any other negotiating process is the starting point, not the end point.
Against all odds and despite continuous wars and terrorism, the Zionist journey has never stopped and has never backed down.
In the last years, Israel has emerged as the front line in the war against jihadism.
What does that mean for me?
For me.
You should be proud of the fact that you are positioned in the front line of this war. This is the next phase of the Jewish story, and it's happening in our generation. We should be celebrating the fact that we are the first society in history that managed to prove that you can live through a daily terror assault and still come out relatively normal.
We can be proud of our achievements over the first 60 years. We have not achieved all these alone.
One life, one fate, one historic path, in which we can win or fail only together. And I'm very glad that the leaders of the American Jewish Committee understand it and work in accordance with this.
What resonates for me is the committee's ability to combine passion with sobriety and to defend Israel in the most intelligent way that I know.
The Israel and the American Jewish community, the relationship with the committee is a particularly healthy one.
AJC is a source of strength for the State of Israel and an unbreakable bond of devotion.
The American Jewish Committee entered that group of leaders which took control of its history. No one will ever forget how you and your leaders stood in vigilant brotherhood at the cradle of our emergent statehood.
The United Kingdom, abstain. The United States, yes.
Israel.
Paraguay,
Israel. Israel.
It's an extraordinary achievement simply to be here.
60 is what 50 used to be, as men of my age say. It deserves a special celebration.
I can't see the Middle East as a place without Israel. I can't see it.
I'm glad to celebrate with you the 60 years of Israel.
The existence of Israel is a very optimistic message to all the free world, because Israel is a unique place which is based on identity and on democracy.
If you then factor the achievements in to the miracle of our daily existence, then this is truly one of the great stories of history.
This is a great success story. It is a miracle.
We truly are one nation sharing one destiny.
Israel is not a dream, it's a reality.
The resolution was adopted.
Israel is a miracle. I think we should celebrate.